across the world. Where will we end up, land or sea? Follow the map, running, where will we go? Trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CK gaming time. Driving trains, trucks to parachute planes. Let's see where we drift to. Buffers in reverse, road signs wrecked. It's CK gaming time. Driving trains, gaining the stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CK Sim Gaming. CK Sim Gaming time. CK Sim Gaming. CK Sim Gaming. Driving through stations, forgetting to stop. Driving through red lights, bad buffer stops. It's time for CK Sim Gaming.
Good morning everyone, welcome to another stream. Well, that started well, didn't it? Started playing the wrong audio for a start. But anyway, typical Sunday. So anyway, a little bit of a, well, not really a treat or anything, is it really? I mean, none of my streams are a treat. But yeah, just noticed that there was a new route out, a freeware route called North Wales Coast Revamped. So I thought I'd play a scenario from the route. It's I will post the link to the route near to the end of the stream. You can get it in a few places. You can get it in on the train sim site that I've been posting things yesterday. Those of you who watched the stream yesterday will notice I did a couple of scenarios, so I posted the links to them. And then you can also get it from ATS, Alan Thompson Sim, you can get the route from as well. So if you can get it from two places, it's made, well, it's kind of distributed, I suppose, by the same people that did Harrogate Loop, Black Northern Lines, etc. Tom and Mark. It's not a Tom and Mark creation, though, as far as I know. It's another developer was doing it, and then they've decided to kind of you know, take it on and kind of do some bits and then host it, I suppose. Bit like a collaboration in a way. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. So the scenario is going to be from, Chester, sorry, Holyhead to Chester. Now the route itself doesn't go all the way to Crewe. Now obviously the North Wales coastal route goes all the way from Crewe to Holyhead, whereas the Revamp just covers the Chester to Holyhead bit. Let's put the game up here. Sorry about this. Always end up being disorganised. Terrible. Right, hopefully you'll get a screen up on this shortly. Here we go. Right, there we are. So there's you get quite a few scenarios with the route already. All AP stuff. You get a 175 scenarios, a class 56 scenario, a class 68 scenario, some class 158 transport for Wales scenarios. You will need to get a reskin from Major James Wales for the 158, and then you got some class 805 Avanti West Coast scenarios as well. I was originally going to be streaming the one from Chester to Holyhead, because I'd already kind of played last night the other scenario just to try out the route, and then found that this route was set in the winter and rain, and I thought, and at night time, and I thought, well, that's not going to stream very well. So as you guys haven't really seen the scenario I played last night, I thought I'd just play it again. So there we go. So it's just set in summer, clear, 7:45. Take Avanti West Coast 805 on a Saturday morning service from Holyhead to Euston as far as Chester. Now this North Wales Coast revamp is a revamp of the North Wales coastal route as mentioned, so that's one of the requirements. There's also a few other routes I think you need to have as requirement. The Just Trains Common Library is another thing that you need, and then obviously for the scenarios you need bits and pieces, but this is a revamp of the route set in modern times, so all the signalling is based on what the signalling is like today. So the whole route and also the scenery and some of the assets have been changed and bits and pieces. It's quite nice. So anyway, we'll get on with it, and then just go from there anyway. See how we get on. I will, as I said, I will post a link to it later on once I've done the journey, because it is a bit of a long journey, this one. There's not too many stations to stop at either, so it just makes you wonder how long it would have been if I had to stop at every station. I'll just have to make sure. Right, here we go. Right, so we're at Holyhead. Good morning. Today you'll be taking this 805 up to Chester, where another driver will take over. Please set up the cab and open the doors. Your departure time is 7:48. So here we are. We've got the Avanti West Coast. Again, this is part of like an enhancement pack. So you need the AP Class 800 enhancement pack, and then there's another site you go to, Semaphore Simulations, where you download this Avanti West Coast reskin. And yeah, anyway, let's get in and start to set it all up.
PWS and AWS operational.
Okay, set up the lights, and then we'll also open the doors up in a sec. There we are. Okay. So as you can see, this is an 805 has also got the diesel engine, so it's like diesel and electric, because obviously on these lines you don't have any overhead lines or anything like that. So these are basically just taken over from the Voyagers, really. There is some scenarios with the Voyager. I think there's one scenario you get the route with the Voyager in as well. So if you've got a Voyager, you can drive a Voyager. So this is a 5-car unit, this one is. But anyway, very interesting. We're going to be going past one of my recent pains as we drive along. Some of you will get it as we go by. Some of you might not get it, but those that do, well, there you go. Looks like we're sitting in first class today, and don't really like these seats, to be honest. I don't exactly look, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just think the newer the trains get, the worse the seating gets, but that's just me, really. But anyway. Right. Calling pattern is, I think we're calling at Bangor, Llandudno Junction, Colwyn Bay, Reel, Prestatyn, Flint and Chester, and then we'll be coupling up to another unit at Chester. Right. And the answer is... Sounds a bit like a quiz show. I love it when that has that buzz. It's like you're playing an episode of University Challenge. Right, anyway, let's head off now to Bangor, or Bangor, or whatever, however it's pronounced. You can see at Holyhead that they've still got the old semaphore signals here. Now I'm hoping that you guys can also hear the train audio. It's probably quite quiet because the train is quite quiet anyway. I might turn the sound up of the audio of the train just a tad, because as I said, it's not very loud, because most of the actual diesel engines are actually a few coaches back. So, but if you find that my voice is getting drained out by the sound, let me know and I can just lower it again. And we're speeding already. What says Katie? Well, I wasn't talking then, so... Probably when I go to outside view, I won't really chat. I won't say anything anyway. Looks like we're being shadowed by a Range Rover to our right over there. But yeah, it's just a quick drive along this route. As I said, it's a revamp of the North Wales Coastal. It came out probably about 2 or 3 days ago, I think. So it's a bit of a chill drive, this, really. That'll keep all the horn people happy. I was going to title this stream something else, but then I thought, no. But but then I thought, no. The horny people. Didn't realise Egbert was here. Or Airspeed Live. Anyway. I'm sure I said the horn people. But anyway, there we go. Right, top speed at the moment is 75. Actually, what I'm going to do, sorry about this, is actually, no, I'll do this in a minute. We're coming over a causeway. Few flickering textures about, but I think that's probably also, you know, what train sims like with water textures now and again and then stuff. Can't really do a lot of Z buffering or Z fighting, whatever they call it. So we've got 20 miles to go before we get to the first stop, and we're due there in about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes. Anyway, I'm just gonna pause briefly in a sec. Just because. Egbert, we're here. We're here, Egbert. We've made it. We are back at Valley. I was going to label the stream going back to Valley, but then again I thought no. But anyway, here we are at Valley. The infamous airport from somewhere else. But yeah, here we are. So we're back at Valley again. Although we'll be going through back towards Chester, thank goodness. At least we actually won't be drifting anywhere today. You can't really drift in a train, can you? Well, unless someone messes up the points. Yeah, anyway, that's a nice house, look. Who would live in a house like this? Right, anyway, let's carry on, shall we? So anyway, yeah, we've gone past Valley, and we're heading from Holyhead down to Chester. Egbert. Now this is a new freeway route. Well, it's a revamp of an existing route. This is the North Wales Revamp, which is basically a modern day 2024 version of North Wales Coastal, more or less. So we'll have all the latest up-to-date signalling that they have on the route now, and also any landmarks or anything. If we pass through here in the next hour, then you have to question. Yeah. Well, you never know. If I went backwards, probably. So yeah, just playing a scenario. The route comes with about, I don't know, 10 scenarios. So there's a couple for the Class 805, which is what I'm driving at the minute, and then there's some for the 158, a Class 68, a Class 56, and 158s and 175s, the usual, and a Voyager. All sort of based on modern day traffic, I suppose, what uses the route at the moment in reality. But anyway. So as I said, the route only goes as far as Chester though. It doesn't go all the way to Crewe, which the original North Wales coastal route does. I mean, it is still based on that route, it's just where they've just revamped it a bit. So you will need lots of other things, you know, you'll need the original route, and then you'll need... They've taken assets from other routes as well, Just Trains, Common Library. So you'll have to have like an up-to-date Just Trains route installed, for example, to get hold of the Common Library. So if you've got, like, for example, the Midland Main Line routes or whatever, or the Western Main Line routes, they come with the Common Library, so you should have all the assets there. As I said, at the end of the stream I will be posting a link to this route. So if you want to take a look at it and maybe want to download it yourself, you can. Tells you what the requirements are. Also tells you what things you might need if there's certain scenarios you want to play. Like, so for example, you might have to go to Major Wales website if you want to play some of the 158 scenarios, because you've got to get the reskin from there, and also this train was a reskin, so you have to get this from the site as well. So semaphore simulations, you have to get this reskin from. And there's quick drives as well, so if you don't want to play the scenarios and you just want to do a quick drive, you can do that as well. Do what you like. I just thought it'd be a nice little drive. It's about a 100-minute journey. Just a little bit of a chill drive, really. There are other versions of this route as well. You can get, I think there's someone did a version of this route which was set in the 80s, for example. So if you like 80s stuff and the way the signalling was in the 80s, then you can drive like an 80s version of this route as well. Which I can't remember who did it, but I don't think it was Backdated Train Sim, but it might be Backdated Train Sim. Yeah, the 80s. So as I said, this is like a modern day representation of what the route's like. So you'll get some of the like modern day signalling, and some of the track will have some of the modern day infrastructure on the track, like these blue things that we're going past here, you know, like, and cable stuff and all that sort of thing. The radio transmitters dotted around as well, so And also there's probably speed limit changes as well, I guess, in some areas. You know, there might be limits now on areas. It's a line. I actually listened to that song yesterday, Katie. I might not have reacted to it, but I did actually click and listen to it. Very heavy metal song. Now, I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't listened to it, you see, so... Yeah, Egbert was unavailable. Tepic could probably say he was unavailable. And Craig, well, who knows what Craig's doing. He seems to have gone into hibernation. But yeah, I don't know. I think the best first class in modern era trains, I guess, was the ones that were on the Mark IV coaches. Although the GWR Mark III coaches, when they had the leather seating in the HSTs, was quite nice. And then they literally fitted all the trains with this sort of like new interior, and then they basically like decided to get rid of the HSTs. Although some of them went over to LNER, I think, so the Virgin trains then seating was very similar. Although that was quite good seating as well on the HSTs when they redid all the HSTs for Virgin East Coast. I don't like the original Mark III seating. But it's crazy, isn't it? Because you go to a heritage line and you go in like an old steam engine coach, like on the Bluebell Railway or something, and it's like third class. Now, third class is supposed to be like the worst of the worst, and then their seating seems more luxurious than than first class passengers get today. It's like you're sitting on a settee at home. But that's how I think anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can say the same for lots of other travel, can't you? Air travel and everything. I mean, if you see how sort of like seats were in the 1940s and 30s in aircraft and things. But then again, airfares were like really expensive back then. I mean, you had to be very wealthy just to even travel in economy back then. Right, 7 miles to go. I think we'll be going over that bridge soon, won't we? Passing another 805 there. I think we go over that bridge soon, don't we? Well, under it. Well, over it, I suppose. But, you know, we go under the road because there's like a road and a railway combined. How'd you get on anyway yesterday, Egbert? Was the model railway alright? So there are some older signals about still on the route. suppose the only way you could really tell the difference between the revamp and say the existing other route would be just to have both up side by side. Like at the moment you can see on here they've got all these, oh well, we did have, there we go, we got like these stuff on the track here, which obviously is more modern day stuff. The crossings, some of the crossings have got warning alarms and things as well, you know, like as you go past them. So those of you that want to make a modern day scenario, then obviously this is quite a nice route. It was a good, interesting World War II one with tanks and wagons and guns. Yeah, I've got some wagons like that as well with tanks on. I think they were a Just Trains pack. I think it was like a military pack you could get from Just Trains, and it had tanks on it. Although they're more modern day tanks rather than the older ones, but. And I think actually, thinking about it, I think that fictional Just Trains route, Mardenshire or Marsdenshire, that used to have a scenario where you had to come out of a military place with some tanks or something, I don't know, and you had to take them somewhere. I think you had to take them to the harbour, to the docks, something like that. Bought some books for quid each. You see them other railway shots for £5 at least. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Sounds alright. I have to keep an eye on them railway books, especially if they're originated from the 80s. You never know, you might find a picture of me in them. Because it makes me wonder, if I was in one book, then who's to say that I'm not appearing in someone else's book somewhere else? I mean, you know. CK could be hiding somewhere in a book, and I don't even know. Part of history. Right, we're coming up to the bridge now, because we've got to slow down to 40. I can't remember the name of the bridge, so please forgive me. Someone will know it. This used to be double track as well, this bridge, but now it's a single track. As far as I know, because it looks like there was obviously space on the bridge for 2 tracks. Now I don't know if the original routes that I've got, like the 80s version of this route, still got the double track in it, or whether or not this is like something that happened sort of like 70s, 80s or whatever. So there's the bridge there. As I know, it's quite a well-known bridge. You've got the road on the top, and then you have the railway line that goes underneath it. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that is what it is, Katie. Thank you. Yeah, now it's all coming back now. It just needs like someone to say something. Yeah, the Menai Bridge. It goes over the Menai Strait, so yeah. We've been over it in Flight Sim as well, of course. Yeah. But it'd be interesting to see when it became a single track, and for example the speed limit being 40, was it always 40, or at some point in the past, you know, maybe it was a bit more, maybe you could go over it at a higher speed. I've not been over it myself because I've not been on this line before. I've never been along the North Wales line in reality. Chester is about as far as I've been along there, along well, anything along this route. It's just Chester really. Yeah, I thought you might have been on it, Egbert. It's when you got lost one time, wasn't it? On you were going to the Isle of Wight, and you said it's this way, and then you got to Holyhead and thought, well, hang on a minute, that doesn't say Isle of Wight on it, does it? No, I'm only kidding. I shouldn't take the mickey, really. Maybe in Euro trucks you'd accidentally get to Holyhead. But yeah. I wonder how many people get confused with Yarmouth and Great Yarmouth. Told their family we're going to go to Great Yarmouth for a holiday, and then they get on a ferry to the Isle of Wight, and they're thinking, well, I'm sure Great Yarmouth isn't. Oh well, it says Yarmouth there. Look, see, it says Yarmouth. Yeah, as you can see, this is a more of the modern day signalling, just basically, you know, LEDs or whatever. In fact, that one probably wasn't the good example of it. If you play East Coast Way on Train Sim World, there's a similar sort of signals where they're just like an LED light, just one, and then they just change colour. So they can change to yellow or red or whatever. Right, we're coming into Bangor now anyway. Bangor, or however it's pronounced. Are we on time? Yeah, look at that, we're on time. Amazing. I think that the timetable in here must be super relaxed. Because, I mean, if I can get here on time, it must be, right? Oh, you've driven over it, Katie, in a car. That's what you meant, wasn't it? Sorry. I guess that's what you mean. You've been over it in a car. On the road, on the top. Yeah. Yeah, you see, you're going to have to get your little certificate, you know, you can... I wonder how many people have actually done both. And I wonder if anyone's actually walked across it, because on that bit of fencing on the left there, it looks to me like somebody could actually walk over the bridge using that pathway to the left. So you could probably walk over, drive over, and get the train over. Right, anyway, we are at Bangor. Now we got a couple of posters up there. I'll have a quick look at those in a minute. We'll just get up to the stop point, which is just up here, wherever it is. It's just past here. I'm going to just brighten up the screen a little bit as well, because I think it's a little bit dark, isn't it? So I'll just go here for a minute. Is it options? Just need to brighten up a little bit. I think it's just because yesterday I was playing a scenario and I just wanted to change the sunlight or whatever with it, but I think that's a little bit better. Right. So there we are. Right, what's these posters like? Let's have a look. Ticket check. Now I don't know if these posters have been changed or if these are part of the original route or not. The lowest available fare. And then we had some posters over here as well. We got thinking of pie charts, stuck in a meeting. Pies Direct. Isn't there a website actually called Pies Direct? Maybe there isn't. But Diesel and Me, starring Diesel the Dog, in cinemas June. And then we have the tunnel there. You can see the old built up over time. I guess that's steam engine smoke and diesel fumes, I suppose, on that. Right. Bit of both, maybe. How many chimneys they got here? Blimey. And then we've got the ocean just over here. Ocean electrical surprise. A nail bar. Charity World. Video Buster. Surprised that's still going. The Grand Cafe. That sounds good, doesn't it? Do you imagine that? You can say to your girlfriend, come on, we're going to go out to the Grand Cafe today. And then you get there and it's like, oh, here it is. And then you got like this reflection of, yeah. Right, anyway. Ocean and electricity don't work. No. It's making me think of video games again, though, Ocean. There we go. That'll just to make the horn people happy. Right, Llandudno Junction is next, 15 miles. So there's the diesel engines up on the roof there, you see. Right, into the tunnel we go. We'll end up coming out and hopefully we'll see the Eiffel Tower. Probably not, though. As I said, it's a good job this isn't a stop-in service, because this would be probably about a 4-hour scenario. Stopping at every stop. Oh, it was Britannia Bridge. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's another bridge, isn't there? They're very close together, literally just along. Probably like a few miles apart. Is it like about a couple of miles apart, if that? There's the other one, so yeah. It's probably because one bridge got basically like, you know, they had to build another one. A bit like what happened on, you know, in Edinburgh, wasn't it, really? You know, with the amount of traffic, then they had to build another bridge. But I think it goes over the Menai Strait, doesn't it? So I guess you can't have two bridges called Menai bridges. So one got there first and then this one came after. Oh, the Swellies, is it? Oh, okay. Isn't it like the Menai Strait, though? As well? I don't know. So yeah, at the moment the speed limit is about 75, but later on in the route it does go up to about 90 in places, so... AP with their pantograph view. Right. The AP pantograph view pack. Did you see that PMGG have done another post over the weekend, Katie. I think they posted last night, yesterday. Just a status update of where they're at with some of their things. The 777-200ER is going to be for both 2020 and 2024. As in released for both sims at the same time. And 737's quite a bit far down the back burner, really. And then the Max is basically just, well, it's just on hold at the minute. And with some more pictures of the 747. Nice little bit of scenery coming up in a minute, where we skirt along the coast and then we go for a little tunnel, which I think just cuts into this. So you see this like mountain hill ahead of us. There's like we go in like a little tunnel just on the edge of it. It's quite nice. And then there's another bit of the route further down where we go like past the castle, and then they've kind of made the track and the castle sort of integrated with each other, which is kind of interesting. Right, anyway, we can go up to 90 now, which is super. And then we go back down to 90, and then we literally go to 75, and then 90 again. I don't know if it's actually like that in reality, or whether or not it's just a part of how it is on the route. That you go, you know, because it can take you quite a while to get up to 90. Then literally, as soon as you got up to 90, you then got to slow down again. But I suppose that's probably how it is, I guess. I don't even know if the older version of this route, the speed limit here was 90 anyway. Maybe it was just kept at 75, and then they decided. Well, that'd be good. I guess they've looked to see how much work it would take for them to do it, and I guess they've decided, well, actually, because I think they've always said that if there wasn't a lot of work to convert them, then they wouldn't charge. I think that's what they've always said, so they've probably looked at it and thought, well, you know. I mean, if they had to like totally like rework all the models and everything, then obviously it would have been a bit different, but I mean, I know the 737's being upgraded with a new cabin and everything, and new sounds, and the 777's going to have new sounds and everything as well. So I don't know, but so yeah, this bit of the route I'm talking about, you go along here and then you get the road next to it, and then you literally go into just the bottom of this like hill through a tunnel. So yeah, this is just another chill drive, really. It's a bit like what's it called? A bit like Euro trucks, you know, where you just do a drive and you're just chatting at the same time. Yeah, well, they probably just literally read the first couple of sentences, Katie, don't they? You get that sometimes in YouTube videos. You get like a whole video and you can tell which people have literally just watched a couple of minutes of the video, because then they ask things related to what's already mentioned in the video. But of course a video is a little bit different, because, you know, if it's a 30-minute long video, I can understand why some people might just skip through it and then them just miss out bits. Whereas if it's like in front of you as text, then obviously, yeah. The only other issue is sometimes what happens is people take snippets of that and post it in other forums. So they might take a paragraph and then they'll post a link to the whole lot, and then some people then come in and instead of reading like the whole whatever written there, they're still thinking about that one paragraph, and then they'll just take a question based on that paragraph they read, which is probably another reason why you see people asking about things that are actually written on that main post, but they might have just seen a paragraph somewhere of it, you know, that someone's taken. It's quite funny in the Boris forums, for example, for Boris Audio Works in his Discord, you know, you get people asking him that because he's done the PMGG 737 sounds, they're begging him to do the iFly 737 800, you know, 737 Max sounds. And the thing is, he did the sounds for the 737 Max. So it's like that placebo effect, isn't it, really? People have got the iFly 737 and then think, oh, those Boris sounds for the 737 800 are brilliant. I wish Boris would do the sounds for them, because they'd be awesome. But he did do the sounds for them. And then he has to tell them, well, I did do the sounds for that. So you're asking me to do sounds for a plane I've done already. Do you know what I mean? It's quite funny. Right, anyway, we've got a 45 coming up in a minute. I guess that's when we're going to get to the section where the castle is. It's a shame that one of my viewers isn't here who loves castles, because he'd probably love this section here, because obviously he loves a castle. Is it Josh? Is it Josh? That's always asking in my streams about flying over castles. And so of course I drive past the castle when he's not here. Of course, a lot of people aren't going to see this view, because if you're just a passenger, you just see out the side. I mean, when you're actually the driver and you're coming along here and you see a castle wall in front of you and you're actually driving almost under a castle, it's pretty impressive, really. You know, you can see the castle, you can see the castle wall and the turrets, and you're just going to go through a tunnel. And then you almost feel like you're part of the castle. And then you got this bit here. You know, it's almost like it makes you think that the castle was after the railway. You know, the railway was here before the castle was. When you go past that section. And then you got this other bit here and you go through, and it's almost like the castle and everything is all joined together. So it's all pretty cool. I like it. But of course, if you're sitting in the side of the train, you see the castle, but you don't obviously see the same view that we're seeing now. It must be quite an impressive view for a driver, but I suppose it's like everything, you know, the driver will get used to seeing that view all the time. So it'll just become like, you know, just an everyday thing really. It's like everything. Right, coming into Llandudno Junction. Are we on time? Yeah, more or less. More or less on time. The other thing is, though, is that the line isn't really too busy, is it? I mean, you get a few trains going along here, but, you know, as usual, it's like where people make scenarios that are based on real-time train schedules, so it ends up being a bit quiet. I know that if this was a white meat scenario, we probably would have passed about 30 trains already. Let's have a quick look around here. Now again, I don't know if there's been a lot of differences between this one and the original station. Probably not too much, but I think they might be new. I really don't know. As I said, you'd have to have like a comparison, wouldn't you, of each one. Obviously there's things like this that have been added in the scenery which obviously wouldn't have been in the original, and I think some of the cars have been changed as well, you know, to make them a bit more modern, although yeah, in places. We got this over here, whatever that says, Filmtopia, and then we've got a what's this called, Mack Trains. You see, I would have called that Track Donald's. And yet KFC, oh my god, someone's actually parked in. That's definitely a drive-through there. That's definitely when you go for drive-in. There's the KFC there. But it's interesting how they got KFC branded and then they have to put Mack Trains there. Looks good anyway. Well, it looked good until the car was in the drive-through. Yeah, I think they need to. They could just, surely they could just select those cars and just click on delete. But then, you know, I don't know. I don't route build, so I don't know if it's really as simple as that. Exactly, Katie. The driving KSC. Right. Anyway, we better head off now. Back to Colwyn Bay. I'm sure you could just select that, couldn't you, and just do delete, and then it would disappear. Anyway, I don't know. Don't you dare walk on the track. Did you see that? He was gonna go on the track then. He's feeling a bit, you know, he's feeling a bit low. Of course, this train isn't CARDA compatible, unfortunately. There's no opening windows. There's doors that don't open. So yeah, it's a thumbs down there. Well, this is version 1, isn't it? I mean, you know, you always get that with something. It could have been something that they took out. You know what it's like train sim when you're route building. You could have removed them already, and then the game crashed the desktop, and then he restarted the route, and then he was probably thinking, well, what things did I do before I saved? And then obviously he might have missed that out. You just don't know. Or sometimes, you know, in train sim, I'm guessing when you're route building, I bet you sometimes think you've deleted something and then you find that it didn't delete. I don't know. Especially if every time you're saving it, you're probably taking a few minutes, isn't it? Not that I'm trying to make excuses up for the person that did this, though. Because I think, as far as I know, this is just one person that did all this, more or less. So, I don't know. And again, it's like and again, it's an object which is off screen, isn't it? Because when you're actually in the cab, the KFC is not slap bang right next to you. It was actually off to the side somewhere, you know. So I had to move the camera and go off a little bit away from the station to actually go to explore KFC. So yeah. I'm certainly not going to write a YouTube comment and just say, "Oh, the route was really good," although I wish that you had removed the cars from inside the KFC building, blah blah blah, because then it just makes me seem like I'm wibbling. You'd get a refund. Yeah, you'd get your free money back. You pay nothing, you'd get back nothing. A lot of I think one thing that hasn't changed from the original route, though, is that there was always a lot of white vans going along, and that doesn't seem to have changed. What, lots of white man vans, or white van mans, or white van people, or whatever. I'm trying to think, is this the bit of road that Francis went along in a car, and then he was trying to record a steam engine? Was it along here somewhere? He was trying to do it, because it kind of looks like he was doing it along a main road. But yeah, there was some crazy posts I saw yesterday. There was somebody that's got quite a decent PC, and they were basically saying that because Windows 11 was coming up with an error, he was assuming that his CPU was too old, and that he has to upgrade his PC just so it runs Windows 11. And I was just like thinking, that was mad. Right, anyway. So obviously something went wrong with his Windows 11 install. And then he was implying, oh well, it must mean that my PC's too old now, so I need to upgrade it to a new one. And I'm like thinking, dude, you got an i9 9900K, that's not out of date for Windows 11. I mean, blimey. If it wasn't for that thing that I had on mine, I could run Windows 11 on mine. That's the road, was it, Egbert? I thought it might have been. I wasn't sure, though. I think he was with that guy from Top Gear, wasn't he? And he was driving like in a soft top car. And they were racing a steam engine. Yeah. I've got an i9 9900K, and now it won't run Windows, so it means I have to get a new PC, because obviously Windows 11 is too modern for my CPU now. It's like, what the hell? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure there are people out there like those that are super rich, and they probably get a new PC every like 6 months. And throw the old one in the bin. Just go and throw it in the trash bin or whatever. You know, you get people like that with phones as well, don't you? You get people that get new phones literally all the time. Oh yeah, I know that as well, Katie. think the Just Trains Voyager was a bit like that. You know, there was a lot of people that kept complaining that the braking on the Just Trains Voyager was wrong. And then all Just Trains kept saying was like, well, we had real life train drivers test it and they thought the braking was alright. So, I mean, you know. Oh no, but the braking's wrong. It's like, well, I don't know. It's like with Tepic in a way, isn't it? I mean, Tepic could drive a train all the time, and someone could do a 3D model of a train, and then Tepic would say, "Oh yeah, that looks a lot like the train I drive every day to work," and then someone would still be sitting there saying, "Oh, the windows are too large, the roof is too wide, the colour is too red, or something else." And Tepic's just like, "Yeah, it looks fab to me." Well, any phone. I mean, it's the same with like if Samsung bring out a new model, there's a lot of people that, you know, for example, might want to get the latest Samsung phone or whatever. I think it happens on both camps, doesn't it? Really, it'd be like all those people now at the moment that are probably all trying to get hold of a 50 series Nvidia card, and yet all you read in the news is about how a lot of them are catching fire. Some of them are like faulty; they haven't got enough things in them that they're supposed to have. Plus the pricing. So, I mean, you know, I don't know. It's just a bit of a mess. We should go raid the bins. Yeah, I suppose so, Egbert. I mean, if you lived in quite a wealthy area, like if you were in hanging around in Beverly Hills where all the rich people lived, I suppose you could do that every week. Although I don't think it works like that somehow, does it? But, yeah. I think that happens a lot with companies, though, doesn't it? Because sometimes every few years companies will get new PCs and they'll just get contractors in and they'll literally just take all the old PCs and put them all in a skip. More or less. So then you have a whole load of these like PCs that might only be like 3 or 4 years old, and then they just replace them all with just newer ones. And obviously the hard drives get taken out. Well, that's if they do things properly. So obviously, you know, the data then can't be used. But I mean, the actual case and the whatever card was in it, you know, probably a lot of them don't have GPUs in them anyway. But you know, the memory and the motherboard or whatever, the PSU. Although a lot of these things from HP and all that are always, you know, basically things that just work for that computer anyway. But I mean, you know, I don't know. Right, wheel is the next stop. Yeah. Yeah, I know, I was just talking about, you know, like, not where the fire was, but just basically like that kind of area of California in general, you know, where there's a lot of rich people that live, and, you know, they probably have a few thing for something for a few months and then just dump it somewhere, you know. I mean, I don't know if I'd be like that. I mean, if I was super rich and I streamed, what I'd do is, if I was like changing my streaming PC every year, I'd probably do a giveaway so one of my viewers could get it. Or if not, just give it to like someone that might benefit from it somewhere. Hey Rogue Squadron, how you doing? Just driving down North Wales coastal route at the moment. A freeware revamped version of the route. So it's the existing route that you can get, and then someone's gone and sort of like revamped it more to do with how it would look in 2024. And yeah, have you actually played it yourself then? Yeah, 99.50. Yeah. I think all you need to do is just roughly see how much they were when the last lot come out, Katie. So have a look to see when the 79.50 came out. Obviously, they've never had an X3D version of the 99.50s, but it might give you some sort of idea of what the pricing might be. I reckon it'll probably be about 600 to 700 quid myself, but I might be wrong. So yeah, I'm just playing one of the scenarios, Rogue Squadron. It's just with the Class 805 Avanti, one of the scenarios. You're looking at an overclocker's bundle again. Trying to think which CPU Toff's got. I know he's got. I think Toff might have had a 950 of some sort. I think Toff might have had a 5950 maybe. I think Toff might have had a 5950, or still has, obviously. Oh, what, here? What, a real? Yeah, I used to sometimes like chat to people that lived in Liverpool. They sort of like to go on holidays around this area, don't they? Like people that I know from Liverpool. Because even though it's not too far away from Liverpool, it's just far enough to make them feel that they've gone on holiday somewhere, you know? Sort of North Wales or that kind of area. Well, I better start slowing down, I think. Otherwise I'm going to overcook it. Climbing the Great Orme. That sounds nice. That makes me think of when Captain Jenks was moved to Wales, and then he did some live streams where he went on walks, and he was walking along the hills down in southern Wales. He was doing some live streams. Just like me mum, as Blackpool isn't a million miles away. Yeah, but it's just enough, isn't it? It's just enough for a change of scenery. I mean, it's a bit like where I live as well. I mean, you know, where I live, sometimes people go, you know, they'll say things like, oh, we're going to go to the New Forest for the weekend. Well, the New Forest isn't too far away from me, really. But it's just far enough to have a change of scenery. Sometimes people might say, oh, we'll go to the Isle of Wight, you know. Again, that's like another change of scenery, isn't it? It's just enough. It's like one member of my family likes to go up to places like Skegness or Great Yarmouth sometimes for weekends, but that's mainly because they're into like they have these music festivals and things that they like going to. Whereas to me, my getaway place is normally back over to Stockholm again in Sweden. There you go, Rogue Squadron now lives in Blackpool. There you go. Anyway, we're here at Real. However, I'm really bad. So you got a bit of the town centre. I mean, the town centre was more off there anyway. Like I say, it'll just be little things. You'd only really know, really, is if you did a side by side of what one route looks like compared to the other. To sort of really know what's changed between them. I mean, like these posters and things are things that are obviously new. But everything else, more or less, is probably the same. It's probably just little bits here and there. The signalling's probably... See, these are newer signals, so these signalling... So the signals are new, for example. Right, anyway, let's head to Prestatyn. We all have our special places. Yeah, exactly, Egbert. You see, for me, sometimes when I was a kid, we used to go on holiday to Cornwall, but not very often. So I think I only ever went to Cornwall on holiday once when I was a kid. And then other times it was normally just a random day out somewhere. And if we ever went on holiday when I was older, it was always to Spain. You know, when the package tours were starting to kick in around the 80s. So it was always like, we're going to go on holiday to Spain somewhere. And every time we went to Spain, it was always somewhere different. It was never the same place. You know, you get some people that go to Spain or wherever every year, and they always want to go back to exactly the same hotel and go back to go to the same resort. Whereas my parents were like, well, every year they wanted to try out, well, not every year, but every couple of years they always wanted to go to somewhere else, somewhere different. So it might have been just a town along the coast, but it was still somewhere different. And then after Spain, they went to the Greek islands, places like that, or to the Canary Islands. And then Isle of Wight for me was like a day trip, because when we were a kid, sometimes at weekend my dad would like go, oh, let's go on a day trip somewhere. So then we'd just go to the New Forest for the day, or the Isle of Wight for the day, or one time we drove down, I think it's to Falmouth for the day, or to Poole or Weymouth, you know, places like that. I mean, I only went, as I said, I only went to Cornwall on holiday once when I was a kid, and we went to North Cornwall to a place which was just like a big caravan park, a place called Perrin Sands, which was very close to a small town called Perranporth, which was kind of not far away from Newquay, sort of around there. I mean, I just remember all the narrow little lanes everywhere, and then we'd always go to somewhere different every day. And the weather wasn't very nice some of the time as well, always raining or whatever, which was typical when you went on a holiday. It was always seemed to be raining. So yeah, you got the more modern signalling along here now. We're coming up to Prestatyn. How am I doing for time? See, I'm still on time. Obviously, this route is what you would call CK compatible. A CK compatible route. I mean, I can't actually think the last time I actually had a holiday where I actually went and stayed in a hotel, because most of the time I go away these days, I'm always staying at friends' houses. Because for me, that's like the best of both worlds, isn't it, really? You know, you don't have to pay for a hotel, and you're just hanging out with your friends in their house. So literally, I can't remember the last time I actually went somewhere where I actually was having to stay in a hotel somewhere. I think the last time I actually went and stayed in a hotel, just even for a night, was when we met up with Captain Jenks, because we were all meeting up at Didcot. So we literally, I was just staying in Reading for the night, and that was it really. That's like the last time. I go to Scotland every month for a few days, like a mini holiday. Yeah, Scotland's lovely. Yeah, I do like Scotland. You see, a lot of my family tree are from Scotland or Ireland, but a lot of my, you know, family side come from Scotland originally. So I've got a lot of Scottish in me. So even, you know, when I went to Edinburgh and that, it really felt really homely, which is really weird, but it just felt like, yeah, it's just. But yeah, Scotland I like. I'd still like to go to parts of Scotland, like, you know, the northern part of Scotland, you know, where the Highlands and all that are, and the coastline up there and everything. But I've just mainly been in the cities. So I've been to Edinburgh, Glasgow, been to Aberdeen, been to Dundee. But I haven't actually been to any of the, you know, the other parts. Right, Flint is next. We've got some stores here. We've got Iceland next, Clark's, Home Bargains, the usuals. Be interesting to see what the other routes had. Obviously, they probably wouldn't have branded places. See, that's the thing. We can do a freeware route in a way, and you can kind of be a little bit different. Again, I don't know if these footbridge assets have changed. But yeah, Scotland's lovely. One of my parents is when they go back in the family tree. Someone in my family in the past used to be a lighthouse keeper on one of the lighthouses off the Scottish coast. And one of my mum's sort of like things going back in the family tree used to be a doctor as well in Scotland. It's quite interesting. Because my mum used to live in Edinburgh when she was growing up as a kid, and you know, she used to say about how she used to like to go up to Arthur's Seat and things, you know, for a walk. But my mum didn't really stay in Scotland for long, so she's not really got a Scottish accent or anything, because she was literally only there just as a small kid, just for a few years, and then she moved again. And plus she wasn't born in Germany. She was originally came from Germany, because my granddad used to work in Germany. So he was based in Germany after the war. So my mum was born in Germany, but obviously, and then had a German nanny looking after her. And then they moved back to Scotland. And then after a few years, they then moved to where we are today. Right, going up to 90, heading to Flint. But yeah, Scotland's nice. There's parts of Scotland that remind me a lot of Sweden, actually, when I was in Sweden. The coastline, for example, around in Sweden, it's very similar to the sort of coastline you have in Scotland. The sort of vegetation, the rocks. You know, sometimes I've seen pictures in Scotland where they're in northern Scotland and looking across the water, and it's very similar. I noticed the east coast of America, like the northeast coast, you know, Connecticut and all that. There's a lot of, apart from the road markings, sometimes you'd think that you were driving around, you know, obviously that's why they call it New England, but there were some houses that tried to imitate like English stately homes and things out there with sort of timber beams and things. There is a scenario that I've downloaded for this route as well, but it's not for this route. Sorry, I mean the original North Wales coastal, which is sort of like a BR Blue scenario, which is quite nice as well. I'll probably play that at some point. It's a workshop scenario. I think it was Not Silent. I think might have done that one, although I'm not too sure. I have quite a few scenario authors on Workshop that I favourite, and so then I just sort of like now and again just check to see if they brought out anything new. So I'll probably play that one at some point, but that'll be on the original North Wales coastal. Well, not the original, but the route which this one's based off of. That makes sense. Because the current North Wales coastal that you can buy from DGG is basically the third incarnation of this route, more or less. There's the old ship that run ashore over there. I think that was when CK was playing Ship Simulator. Probably. It's the sort of thing that would happen, wouldn't it? I'd be playing Ship Simulator, and that's basically more or less how I'd end up. It would be called drifting, but obviously a different kind of drifting. Right then, everybody, we're going to go across the Irish Sea, and I'm going to turn the engines off, and then we'll see where we end up. And then a few hours later, oh, I think we're ashore here now. And then it's stayed there ever since. But, yeah. See, I doubt if that wind turbine is in the original route either, although it might be, I don't know. That might have been added. That might not have been there originally. So there's those newer style signals again, a bit like when you play East Coast Way on Train Sim World. They've got them kind of signals, just them single like lights on a pole. Talking about trains, the rail fares went up today. Is it today when the rail fares went up, or is it just announced they're going up again? You only remember the Virgin routes. Yeah. Yeah, that was the original. There was the original route that came out was literally like Chester to Llandudno, I think it was. That was the original, and then they brought out North Wales Coastal Crewe to Holyhead, which was then the section from Crewe to Chester, and then also the section from Llandudno all the way up to Holyhead, and that was all in. That was also in Virgin livery trains and also a Riva train, because obviously at the time Dovetail had the licences for Virgin and also the licences for Arriva. And then what happened was that when the licences for Virgin ended, they then had to remove the route from sale, so then it went off sale for a while, and then they brought the route back, which is the current version that you can buy now, which is just got had all the branding removed from the stations and stuff. So anything that had Virgin on it or anything that had Arriva on it, that all got removed. So that's like the current version. But if you obviously bought the original routes, and obviously you still have those, so some people like me will have like 3 North Wales coastal routes in a way. The same thing happened with South Wales main line as well, because originally there was Bristol to Cardiff, and then they expanded it and went Bristol to Swansea, and then they removed it because there was this licensing thing, and then they brought it back later on with different branding. Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of like what happened with that. But then for a while it was annoying because there was some free rare routes out that people couldn't play because they, the free rare route, for example, might have needed, I think it was needed the Crewe station asset, and then obviously people then couldn't play it because they couldn't get the Crewe station asset. Then they had to wait until the version came out again, which had the Crewe station asset in, so they could then use that. Something like that, anyway. Right, anyway, we're at Flint, sorry. Yeah, I think a white mead version of the scenario would be quite cool. A little foot hiding around there. And then, of course, Backdated Train Sim, I think, did another version of North Wales Coastal, but sort of like an 80s version of it. Which is quite a nice one as well. I think it was Backdated Train Sim, or I think it got hosted. I just can't remember now. But anyway, at the end of the stream, I will post a link to this route so you can have a look at it yourself, and if you want to download it. Yeah. Not much else to say. So I think after Flint, it's Chester, isn't it? And as I said, we're more or less on time again. Which is amazing. Definitely a CK compatible scenario, this one. I've got a person on the left sitting looking at their clock. I've got a person on the right sitting there looking at their watches as if to say, oh. I'm not going to get the little bib bib. I think it might be because I was maybe too far down the platform, which is maybe why it's not doing it, because I know it's a bit like relating to the doors and things as well, isn't it? Right, anyway, Chester Signal CR166 is where we're going to stop. Now, I think that's because there's another train in the platform when we get to Chester, so we got a couple up to it, so I guess it's just we have to stop at that signal and then do the old tab routine thing. It's quite a long old route this actually, isn't there? I mean, it's like 16 or so miles more or less between each one. Okay, this one is a 12, but I mean each section between the stations has been quite a big distance. Kinda. I mean, this has been quite a fast service as well. I mean, we haven't been stopping at many stations because like I said, I mean, it'd be crazy to think how long a scenario could be if you got to stop everywhere. Yeah, stop at every station. And then the other line that was the same thing that got removed and then got rebranded was the line from Shrewsbury to Newport. So then that ended up having two versions, a branded and an unbranded version. It's a good job this isn't a career scenario. I probably would have lost a few points already for speeding now and again. So yeah, this is the only really the only seat view you get. I mean, I know on some add-ons you get multiple seat views, so you can move around a coach, but these are the only ones that you can do here, really. Yeah. Still speeding a little bit. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the drive along this route. It's been a bit of a chill drive, really. There's not been a lot going on in regards to other AI trains as well, but I suppose this is just because this is based on sort of like real life train timetables, and there probably isn't so many services going along here anyway. But yeah, for a little bit of a chill drive, not too bad. The Class 56 scenario would probably be quite a good fun one to do, but I know that someone else has already, I think the person that created the route did a stream and he did that scenario as part of the stream, which is why I didn't do it, because the Class 56 is quite noisy and quite cool as a freight scenario. Plus I did a freight scenario in the last scenario, so I thought, well, I think that's is this Broughton here, where the Airbus stuff gets done? I think this is it here, isn't it? Maybe. I might be wrong. You know, where they make the Airbus wings. You swap the 56s for an AP50. Yeah, that's cool. Some people might even swap it for 66. It does make me... It's quite interesting, Rogue Squadron, because I know on TSW everyone always complains that every time a route comes out for TSW they always say, oh no, not another 66. Yeah, I think AP's announced that they're doing an update for the 66s for AP, and now everyone's getting all excited. Oh, there's some new 866s. Oh, it's funny. Like, 1 minute everyone hates the 66s, now everyone's getting excited over 66s. Yeah, you saw that in the newsletter, yeah. So I haven't actually looked at the newsletter, I'm just seeing by what people have posted on Facebook. So I thought, oh, there's another Class 66 coming along. And yeah, I watched a Dovetail stream the other day for TSW on the North London line, and then when they were doing the layers for 66, people were going, oh no, not another 66, why can't you have something else? And it's just funny. Now, if Matt had said, oh, well, actually, it's an AP 66, everyone would be like going, oh, wow, yeah, oh, yeah. Which is basically the DGG Model 66, but just, you know, enhancements anyway. But anyway, it's just funny. Funny world. But anyway, the North London line route doesn't actually come with a 66 anyway, so... but I'm guessing that as every other UK route seems to have had a 66 in it, will probably already have one. Well, I think this is Chester Racecourse here, and we're just going past. Obviously, the original route had all this as well, although I don't know if it had that same kind of detail with the stadium or whatever. Might have done. Not sure. As I said, it'd have to be like a video where you have both routes together, like in a split screen, so you could see the differences. I think that's the only way you could do it, really. Right, anyway, we're coming up to the signal in a minute. And then we'll be at the end of the scenario and the stream, so thanks for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. Will there be another stream today? No, probably not. But you never know. There will be a stream later in the week, though, because I think on Tuesday, when that new route comes out, I think the following day, which will be a Wednesday, I think that'll be when I do a stream on it. I'll probably buy it on Tuesday, and then probably stream a little bit of it on the Wednesday. Probably like every other man and his dog, doing a TSW stream, and no doubt be streaming it. There's the speed limit there, 950. You can go there. That's quite a high speed there, that one. I better start slowing down for this signal. Yeah, but is it a speed signal though, Casey? Right, here's another thing that's really weird as well. I think it's for this scenario, because I've played other scenarios, because I wanted to check this yesterday. It's really weird. This scenario has this track missing, and yet I thought it was the route. So I then reinstalled the AP track enhancement pack, and then I played another scenario, which is leaving Chester, and the track was there. So it's almost like, for some reason, I don't know. I know in scenarios you can change the scenery. I'm wondering if when this scenario was created, they accidentally deleted the track, because other scenarios I've played have the track here. So, because when I played this yesterday, I played this scenario yesterday, and I thought, oh, the track's missing. So then I thought, oh, maybe it's because I've got to reinstall the AP enhanced track pack. So I installed it again, and then I played a different scenario coming from Chester, and then went round here, and the track was there, and I thought, oh, it's been fixed. But obviously, I've just played it again now, and it's doing the same thing. So it must be in the scenario itself the track's been removed. So, because I know that you can do that in a scenario, can't you? You can actually add things in a scenario. So I'm wondering if someone's accidentally deleted the track here. Yeah, it's just for this scenario though. As I said, I loaded up another scenario which was going the other way, and then you can see. In fact, I'll show you at the end. I'll just load up another scenario where you start from Chester, and this track is there. So it's obviously just to do with this scenario. But there was me like thinking, oh, I'll have to reinstall. But the only other thing I can think of is that the scenario was created when it might have been an earlier build of the track, and then because he then remade the and then the scenarios stayed the same. But then I don't know. I don't make scenarios, so I haven't got any idea. I haven't done scenery, so again, I'm just assuming. But I'm sure there's people out there that do make scenarios and do make routes or edit routes, and then they kind of know what it was. But as I said, it's not the route. The route hasn't actually got that missing track itself, because otherwise the other scenarios that I played from Chester would have that track missing as well. So it's just this one scenario, it seems, so far that I've tried. So I might actually email them and just mention it, and just say I played it and there was a bit of missing track, but another scenario's got the track in, so it's not a route issue. Right, let's just stop near here anyway, and then we'll hook up to the other train. Because then what you've got to do is you've got to press this button here, and then that basically opens this little hatch here, like so, and then you can couple up. Katie. Under 16s look away, exactly. Well, this is supposed to be an 18 stream, just for this very reason, you see. Why is that doing that? Hang on a minute. Right, good job. Another driver will now take over and take this service down to Euston. Right, okay, so let's come out of the scenario. And as I said, I'm going to briefly load up another scenario on this route, but starting from Chester, and then you'll see that the track is actually there. Well, it was when I tried it earlier. It'd be funny if I try it now and the track's missing again. But anyway, I think there was a scenario with the 175 that started from Chester, so we'll just run that one. Always takes a little while to load to come out sometimes. I think the more stuff you got installed in Train Sim, the more of a nightmare it is. Because you all know what it's like. If you do a completely clean install of Train Sim and you hardly have any routes on it, it literally loads up really fast. Right, so I'm just going to go back and choose this one here, which is starting from, goes between Chester and Holyhead. So I'm literally going to just load this one up. See, that one's a 2-hour one, so that's probably stopping at way more stations, isn't it? But you'll see, I'll go back here, and the track is there. Well, as I said, probably now that I'm streaming it won't do it, but... Commentator's curse. It will now probably have the track missing. No, my luck. But no, when I tried it yesterday, the track was there. So, like I say, I'm wondering if someone's accidentally deleted it with the scenario, or it could have just been a scenario that was made on another bit of track. Right, so we're here at Chester, and we're going to go back down the track. And as you can see, we're going to get to that bit of track here, and as you can see, it's not missing. See? See, we came this way, and then there was like, the track was missing as we got to here. The track vanished. See, this bit of track here wasn't here. So, it's just in the scenario. And there was me thinking it was something that I'd not installed right again. So then, but you can see, track's here. Odd. Yeah, I think, you know, because in a scenario you can add objects, you know, Whitemead used to add sheep and all sorts of things, little men on signals, and I'm wondering if whenever that scenario is made, someone might have accidentally, while they were building the scenario, might have accidentally deleted a bit of track or something. I don't know. Or maybe the scenario was made on a an earlier build of the track, and then obviously that bit of track might have got changed, but then that means that in the scenario, when it was written and saved, then that track doesn't show up anymore. I don't know. I'm sure when there's like an update to the route, it'll get looked at, I guess. But anyway, this is another scenario which I'm not playing at all, because I don't think none of you could stand me driving all the way back down the other way for 2 hours, and I certainly couldn't today. maybe in another, maybe for a YouTube video all on its own. I don't know, because I really need to do some YouTube videos, which was going to be basically more YouTube videos, but without me talking. It was just going to be the sound, so I'd just have the sound on and I would just drive, and then I would just say at the beginning, this is a scenario from A to B, the route's in the description, the scenario's in the description, and then I'm just going to drive along the route, and then people can then just have me driving like a cab view video like they do on YouTube, you know, where you just have a view like this and basically that's it. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching the stream. As I said, I don't know if I'll be streaming again today, but as I said, there will be streaming later on in the week. As I said, probably on Wednesday, because that route comes out on Tuesday evening, so then it'll probably be Wednesday. So I'll probably just do a little bit of the North London line route on Wednesday, just to drive a couple of services up and down or whatever. But yeah, apart from that, have a good rest of the day. Thanks for watching. Thanks Katie, thanks Rogue Squadron for popping in, Egbert, thank you, and anyone else that was lurking, thanks so much just for watching the video. And also those of you that might be watching the video later on YouTube, then yeah, thanks for watching that on there as well. So yeah, what else to say apart from ta-ta? Have a good one. Oh, sorry, actually, no, I've got to do one more thing. You know, a lot of you have all been waiting for me to post the link for the video. No, the route. I feel like I'm conning you all. You know, like when you say, "Oh, you got to watch the whole video to wait for something," and then I'm like leaving you all. Hang on a minute. That's where you get the route from. There we are. North Wales Coast Revamped version 1.0. There we are. That's where you get the route from. It's basically the same place where I posted the other route and the scenario from yesterday's stream, I think it was. You can also get this route on Alan Thompson's sim as well if you want to get it from there. But this is where I got it from. With on track simulations did the route, or basically they didn't do the route. The route was basically an ongoing project spanning almost 6 years, all at the hand of Morgan Roberts. So Morgan Roberts did all the route. And then obviously it's just been published out there by On Track Simulation, who basically Tom and Mark, and they've done obviously quite a few scenarios and quite a few free rare routes as well, Northern Lines, Northern Lines and Harrogate Loop, and yeah, and some others as well. But yeah, anyway, quite a lot there. So yeah, they've also recently did an AP Sky Accurate Time of Day add-on as well, online on Track Simulations app. But as I don't have the weather pack installed at the minute, then obviously I'm not using that. So anyway, right, I think that's enough for there. So yeah, enjoy, and catch you all another time. Next scenarios I'll be playing on Train Sim Classic, probably be workshop scenarios again. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, I shall say ta-ta and see you again soon. Thanks for watching.